S1.EP9 Mercero. I'm playing Corey. He gets kind of scared at the drop of a hat and makes for some comic relief.
Fact, everyone here hates us.
And the great thing about the script is that we weren't bound to the words. It was like living in the moment and reacting organically to the moment. So a lot of stuff just came out naturally. You know, when you really get into like the nitty-gritty scenes and stuff and like the real scary stuff, you can't, it's hard to like really write that. So improv did come out a lot.
Okay.
We're gonna die.
We're gonna die. You can't run away from us like that.
We're gonna die.
Okay, we're gonna be fine. We
Shut
just have to
up,
stick
man.
together.
What I love about horror films is that the genre itself is the star. Like, you don't go and see like a Tom Cruise horror movie because Tom Cruise is the star, but you could see like a grade B horror film and it would be awesome. And you don't know anyone in it, but they're all awesome. And it allows, that's a great thing about horror films. It's a great start for actors because it allows them, you know, to present themselves to an audience without like a preconceived background of their work and whatnot.
Let's line up the bloodshot.
Look at this. Can you see this?
Yeah.
This is good.
I would just look like like he's covered on the table. It's fine.
My name's Jessica Morris, and I play Kennedy in the film. She's kind of a little, I would say, I see her as being kind of motherly to her friends, because you know she kind of tries to keep everything calm, keep everyone level-headed, and get things moving. I've always been taught to not look into the camera, you know, to have that fourth wall up, but I had to actually look straight into the camera when I was talking to the guy that's playing my friend who's behind the camera. So that was a huge challenge, and it took me a little while to warm up to that. So as a grown-up, you have to, you know, be in the real world and kind of act a certain way. And when you're an actor, you don't necessarily. You're getting paid to basically still play pretend and not have someone say, hey, you're crazy, you're weird, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't say that, but actually have people say, good job, good scene. So that's really fun.
I don't care if you think this is a prank or whatever, but those things are real, and they had real dead bodies in them, so I'm not doing that. Absolutely not.
Well, you guys think Dr. Klein used to do some weird experiments down here?
Thanks for that. Really.
My name is Jeff Adler. I'm playing James. Even though you don't see me that much, the whole film is from my point of view, so you know, I'm really a featured character in that way. And you know, in a lot of ways he's sort of like the level-headed one of the group.
Okay, but if there is something going on and we catch it on film, do you know how much money we could make for that?
A lot.
A lot.
When you have to get to a place where, you know, you're terrified, that's a difficult task, you know, and so that was something that I gained a little respect for people who've done horror now.
Got some murder here. Lots of rape and murder. Cannibalistic tendencies. It's going a distance.
I want to make people feel like they're not alone at the end of the day. So, I mean, even though maybe a horror film is not necessarily, you know, a Sean Penn drama, it's still, you know, to make people feel something at the end of the day. You know, if it's being scared, being emotional, feeling for these characters, you know, that's what really drew me into it. And it's the best therapy.
Please slow down.
You know, even in his death, he's still trying to film these ghosts. It's finally that film that he's been waiting for his whole life, you know? As anything, as a journalist, as a photographer, as a filmmaker, you have to go to places. You know, a journalist doesn't necessarily want to go to Baghdad. However, that's where the story is, you know? It's putting your life in danger and, you know, risking leaving your family forever and stuff like that, but, you know, this is your job, this is what you want to do, you want to make history, you want to tell a story, so you keep going.
1, 2, 3.
My name is Jim Tavaret. I play the doctor that haunts the asylum
Dr. Klein. Well, unfortunately, my character doesn't speak. I'm not sure if Shane, the writer, I'm not sure he had time to write any words for me, but I kept imagining the character would have a voice, you know, especially in a horror voice. I've been working on my horror voice, you know, and I didn't get the chance to use my horror voice in this picture. But one day, the evil doctor will come back with words.
My name is Shane Bitterling, and I was under the impression that it was going to be a very short, easy script to do because it was going to be mostly improvised, and I learned from the director, who's edited a bunch of these things, everything has to be written out, every little thing. So, in fact, what I thought was going to be maybe a 30 to 40 page script ended up being like 120.
I always kind of like to have him in the foreground, so maybe if you could stand here and talk to Klein right in this spot.
Danny's a very great guy, very good-looking guy. You wouldn't expect him to be like a film director kind of thing. He doesn't have he looks like Elvis or something.
There's two kinds of directors that I know I work with. There's a technical director and there's an actor's director, and I feel Danny is the best of both of those because he would give the actors time to like breathe and work around the scene, but he also knew like what he wanted technically in the scene. We were just kind of standing around bored at like 2 o'clock in the morning, grabbed the camera and went and shot a bunch of B-roll and then showed it to Danny, and he was like, oh my God, this is great, you know, so he actually edited it into the movie. So I mean, that type of stuff was really fun. You couldn't do that with a lot of other directors, you know, they would just have fits.
He really just had a clear idea of what he wanted for each shot.
He didn't need to do 3 takes of the, you know, or 50 takes of the same thing. He could do it in 3.
Which is going to make it a lot easier for him when he is editing the film, but also made it great for us as actors because he knew exactly what he wanted. Linda Vista is a really creepy place, and I did feel some weird sensations when I was shooting, like in the hallway. That was, I think, used to be the ER or something like that. I was feeling these weird, like a tingly kind of feeling. I don't know, it was really strange. Like all of a sudden I would feel dizzy and it would just whoosh, like all the energy would come out of my body.
I definitely felt like a presence, and I swear to God, I thought I saw like someone just like staring at me, like the silhouette of someone like way down the hallway.
As I walked around that place, man, I was more and more terrified every time. You know, when you would go into like a dark corner of the place, you know, and you would get like chills up and down, you know.
There was a moment where the sound equipment was like hanging up over something, and right when I was about to walk under it, I stepped back for whatever reason, and all of it came crashing down.
But there was a set designer called Molly. At one point she wiped the wall of dust, and underneath it was like an old graffiti, and it honestly said, Molly lives here. And then it had a year, and I'm not sure what the year was, so I don't want to get her age wrong, but it actually had the year of her birth.
We went up there and we were shining our flashlights on the graffiti, and we heard this, like on the other side of the wall, this shuffle, 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 and then like somebody backed up against the wall. So we went into the room, and there was obviously nobody there. But we were like looking around, there was a bloody handprint on the wall. Started going back, we heard this like running, shuffling again, like, and then it stopped right at the door. And it was just like so weird. We all got kind of shivers up our spines, but they're, you know, because they're the monster people and they deal with all this stuff all day, you know, they're acting cool, but I was actually kind of like,
My name is Dave Corsilli, and I did special effects. I got involved doing makeup effects with Tom Devlin. I met him at a Halloween party, and from 1313 Effects, Tom Devlin. I met him at a Halloween party through some friends, and we just shared a lot of the same interests as far as movies and stuff. And I actually showed up at the Halloween party dressed as Bubba from Texas Chainsaw 2. the 80s one, and he was freaking out. He's like, "Where'd you get that mask? Oh my God, that's from Savini's mold." And that was pretty much it. And from then, it's been history. You know, I've just helped him out at the shop when he was living out in California, and that's how it worked out. As far as challenging on this film, we were pretty confident going in what we were going to be doing, and Andrea Warsma was basically running the show for the effects. So she's done a lot of movies with Tom and just on her own. So she knew what we were doing. She basically had all the notes from the director, from Danny, and just told me what we needed to make, what we needed to do, how we needed to do it, and that was pretty much it. So, you know, it was fun. The whole time was like fun. It was like camp, you know what I mean? So it was really good. We had a great time. We had to do ghost makeups, which were really cool, on 3 different characters, basically, 3 different actors. And all 3 were very individual, like they all looked very unique in their own way. And there was 2 males and a female. And that was really fun. Like there was, you know, they were just creepy just sitting in the makeup chair once we got them done. And then when you put them into the low light, it was just amazing. And they just had some appliances like scars, and they were mostly just based out white, like old school style ghosts, with some like black veins and like darkened out eyes and darkened out mouths. And a little bit of blood here and there, but you know, they're supposed to be, you know, like apparitions essentially. So, but they were really fun because we knew that with the makeup we put on them, when we put them in certain lighting situations, they were going to just creep everybody out. So that was really fun. And then the thing that we were really excited about doing was basically the evisceration. There was 2 autopsy victims at the end of the movie, which you will also see, and they were basically, each one was created. One was created by Andrea, one was created by myself, and I actually have them. This was the one that I made for the female victim. Basically, she plays one of the actresses in the film that they're actually doing the behind the scenes on. And basically, what we did with this is the director really wanted a kind of a more surgical precision as far as like having her slit down the middle, skin flipped over, and exposing her muscular system. He didn't want a lot of guts on this one. He wanted it to be kind of very like autopsy, almost like a, you know, just you know, like a dissection class almost, you know, and we had a little bit of guts in here. And this was all made out of liquid latex and some rolled cotton, and also we did the skin flaps with just latex and paper towels to create, you know, so they're flexible, and you just throw a little bit of blood on this thing and it looks pretty crazy. So there was that one, and that's the one that I made for the female. And then Andrea made this one, and this one was with all the blood on it. This was the evisceration, this was the grip. He and the actress were basically having sex throughout the movie, and they end up at the end laying on morgue slabs in the final scene of the movie, and he was eviscerated. And this is just basically made out of the same kind of thing, rolled cotton, liquid latex, some paper towels. You throw blood on this thing on the actor and it just looks ridiculous with the right lighting. It's amazing, and you know, just a little gags that basically work well for, you know, the budgets that we're on to make them. You know, this is like a 6-day shoot or something, so I think 3 or 4 of those 6 days were just effects, a lot of effects, not just effects, but you know, so we had to make stuff that we could, you know, spread the budget with, and this was what these were. These came out great though. They look awesome in the film, you know, and super fun, and we get to keep them, and I get to keep them in my house, so I'm gonna hang them on the wall or something, somewhere behind me in here. Yeah, or just wear them around, yeah, maybe on Halloween, I don't know. When we were actually at Linda Vista, I had a few incidents when I was actually between makeup shots basically. I was walking around with my 7D filming stuff and kind of getting some B-roll footage for Danny and just behind the scenes stuff and just ghost hunting essentially. And a couple of times I had a lot of glitches in my camera, which don't normally happen. While I was filming, it would just start the camera would start flickering. One time I went back and I put a full battery in the camera because I knew I was going to be walking through Linda Vista Hospital for about an hour, you know, me and Andrea and Shane. And so I went and grabbed a full battery, brand new, right off the charger, put it in the camera. Probably about 20 minutes in, we got to a certain part on the bottom floor a certain wing of the hospital, and the camera completely died, drained the battery completely, and this is no lie. And I had to go back, and I was freaking out, like, oh, what's wrong with my camera? And went back, and I just grabbed the other battery that was still on the charger charging. It was only like a quarter full, put it in, and the camera turned right on. When I took the battery that died, and I went and put it on the charger, it was completely dead. So it literally just drained all the energy out of the battery, like right away. And the battery usually lasts about 7 hours, and I got about a half hour of it. And I've never had a problem with that battery since that day, even filming after that night. So there was definitely something. I didn't see anything, but there was definitely some kind of weird vibes going on there, because I was like, oh my God, like freaking out, my camera's dead, what happened? And it just sucked all the power right out of the battery, camera shut off, would not turn back on until I put another battery in it. So that was really it. I mean, definitely a lot of weird feelings, weird vibes there. I didn't see anything, unfortunately. I wish I did. I went through all my behind the scenes footage and still photos I took on set, and was hoping I'd see something, but I didn't. So I think that, you know, if it's something you love to do, just do it, you know what I mean? And just go out and just buy some, even start with just liquid latex, just some cotton, like anything like that, and just make stuff. Get some clay and sculpt some stuff, and just, you know, just use your imagination, create stuff that you've seen in movies that you love, and just make it happen. Just get into it, just dive in, get messy. You know, that's what it's all about, is just getting messy and having fun. You know, there's no job like it in the world, so just go do it. That's it.